Hey everybody, and welcome to Commission Painting Vlog number 19019. Welcome back. So, it's been another month. 4 weeks, almost exactly. So I'm back onto a regular schedule here, which is nice. And this is actually the 5th video that I've put out this month, which I'm trying to make up for last month where I think I put out 2. And so I'm trying to get back into the flow and maybe catch up a bit because I really do want to average out to about 4 a month. Why 4? I don't know, because it seems doable and it's nice to have a goal. So that's what we're doing. But let's go right into what we've done. We, the royal we, me, what I have been doing over the past month. So let's look at that. Oh yeah, the big one. The assault carrier project completed, and that was actually 2 of the videos that I released this month. I'm very pleased. Not the least of which because that project took way longer than it should have. Yes, there were a lot of delays up front, but the later delays were all my fault, and it was all about being outside of my comfort zone and finding excuses not to get the work done. So let's not do that anymore. On the plus side, now that I have completed that and I can see what is possible with this type of project, the next one should be far easier, which is nice. So it shouldn't take 6 months to get it done. And I like the results. I think the final product was really cool. I know that John, who now owns the assault carrier, was super pleased. I think he said it was the best project I had done for him. And I'm not gonna lie, I think he may be right. And so there was just a lot of things that came together right at the end that worked really well. I had this concept for the kind of Star Wars FedEx ship for a while. And honestly, the idea of doing a sci-fi FedEx ship is something I've had for years. I think my original concept for that was to do the 2001 space plane. Even before they re-released the kit, I had an old version of that I bought for almost nothing because it was in bad shape, and I was going to redo it and do it with the FedEx livery. And actually do it FedEx because if you remember in 2001, they actually had lots of real company names. Pan Am was actually the logo on the space plane in the movie. So anyway, that idea had been kicking around for a while, and it was kind of neat to finally make it happen. So that's pretty cool. And then, of course, the lighting worked out. I've never really shot anything with lighting in terms of photography and nothing like that, so I probably should have given it a little bit more thought and time so I could have gotten pictures that really represented the final look well, because the pictures that I have, which I might be showing you perhaps right now, they don't really, you don't really get to see what it looks like. The kind of edge lighting on the side with the fiber optics looks a hell of a lot better and a hell of a lot brighter than it looks in the photographs, and it balances well with the bridge lighting and the engine lights. I actually think the engine lights in the photos look pretty good because they're really bright, so it was very easy to make those look good in the photos. But yeah, that's finally off the plate, and it felt so good. But what else? Let's look. Oh, and so since then I've had a little tiny project. I fixed, where is it? I fixed this guy. I've had him for a while. Well, I've had him. I did him a while back. Where's my lights? It's just a Black Templar. Anyway, I painted him a long time ago. He fell off a shelf and broke, and I fixed him for his owner gratis. I charged him nothing for fixing it. And if you have something that I've painted that perhaps needs some repair work, let me know and we can work something out. If it's a simple fix, I'll just do it. You know, you pay for shipping and I'll just fix it. If it's a more complex thing, if it broke into multiple pieces and needs some repainting, then we can talk about it. But frankly, I am inclined to do that as cheaply as possible. So just let me know. But I also I painted the anniversary Marine for him as well. The 35th, 84, 94, 2004, 2014, 35th anniversary. Marine. I was just doing the math. And that was a kind of a fun little project. I hadn't actually done any Marines for quite a while, and that one was definitely a blast from the past. I do like the fact that it sort of incorporates both the kind of old design aesthetic with new technology, so it's a nice kit. And then two little larger projects. I did just a buttload of Marvel Minis, and I had actually done a similar buttload 2 months ago for the same client. And God, these are fun. Painting those models really. If you are a comic fan at all, you should be painting the Night Models Minis. There is just something super satisfying about it, and I've gone on about it before, so I'm going to hold off on doing that again. But in particular, the Hulk is huge. He's like that big. And the Hulk Buster, similarly large. The only downside is both of those required a fair amount of work to make them look good. I can't remember which one. They both had a fair amount of work, and it's the problem with large metal models. It has always been this way. It will always be this way. It's one of the reasons I actually really liked it when the industry shifted over to high-impact polystyrene, because you could do larger models and not have to worry about all those weird issues like warping and the sizes of parts changing based on how large they were, and shrinkage, and it's a pain in the butt. But in both cases, I was able to make them work. So, and they're both huge and awesome. And then I did another Guild Ball team. This is the second Guild Ball team I've painted, and last time it was the Butchers, and this time it was the Alchemists. And at some point, I'm going to actually have to play this game. I really want to try it. My son has a team now. I don't know if he's played yet, but it's really starting to pick up around the store. That's Greenfield Games in Greenfield, Massachusetts. And if you're wondering why I'm doing this, is because people tell me that I often fail to mention where my store is and what it's called. So Greenfield Games, Greenfield, Massachusetts. It's on Main Street. Be there. There. I've taken care of that now. Anyway, back to the Guild Ball. The Alchemists team, I think I like the sculpts better on the Alchemists than I did on the Butchers. They're both really interesting and really cool designs. I had no problem with the design. Well, okay, I had one problem with the Alchemist designs. The Butchers all felt like it was the first time anybody had done the 3D mastering and then moved to physical manufacturing, because a lot of the detail was very shallow, and you could tell that was because they just didn't realize what the limitations were in bringing, you know, the 3D to the real world. Anyway, the Alchemist didn't seem to have that problem, so that was cool. On the other hand, there was one model, and I can't remember her name, but she's in a pose, and I was like trying to figure out how to do it myself, and she has his arms way back in a way that I think the only way I can do it is if I bend my arms. Oh, anyway, it's silly, and I didn't really like that model, but the rest of them were really cool. And so that was a kind of a fun project, and I think. Oh, well, and then I have a project that I'm working on now, because this sort of transitions between what I did last month and what I'm doing next month, because it's sort of happening as we speak. For example, this is a, it's a Demon Prince from War Game exclusive. I've never heard of them before, but this is a fairly nice model. And you know, I really should have figured out this lighting before I did this. I caught it. It's fine. I did this. I caught it. It's fine. Anyway, there it is. We're, you know, obviously in sort of like the halfway point here. Anyway, I did a small conversion. I replaced he's holding a mirror and looking into it, which I thought was actually kind of fun. Yeah, they're like that. But instead, he now has this sword. And then I got to do one of these cool, and he's almost done. Mears Minis models. I love the stuff that comes out of Mears. They have some of the coolest things. He still needs to have his base painted, but he is otherwise awesome. So the only things really left to do is paint his base, and then I think I'm going to give him some drool. I think he needs some drool. Don't you think he needs drool? With a mouth like that, he should be drooling. So yeah, so there's that. And then when he's done, I've got this vortex beastie thing. I have 3 components that I'm keeping separate until he's fully painted. I forget what that's called. I'm sure you know. Here, he looks basically like that. So he's not a small piece. And then proceeding into next month, I've got a Houndstooth for X-Wing. I've got some models for Descent, the board game. And then I get to do a Night Warden. I have been wanting to do one of those since they were first released, and I just couldn't bring myself to buy one for me. And nobody had asked me to do one yet. So I get to watch from afar as other people got to paint these cool models. And now I'm doing it myself. So that's cool. That's very fun. And then at some point in there, I should be getting the Halo project. This 40K project that I'm doing right now with the Mears Minis and the Wargame exclusive, that's actually a next month that's a September project, and I'm working on it in August because the Halo project that I was supposed to get has not arrived yet. Because I think they didn't have enough to fill all their orders, which is really annoying. Because I really want to do that. But what are you going to do? So when that shows up, that'll immediately drop into, like, for example, if it were to show up tomorrow, I would just continue working on this project and then start the Halo project. This is all reversed, so it always freaks me out. So this isn't a mirror that I'm looking at. Anyway. So, oh, and I've been painting a little bit for myself. I'm not going to do this close up yet. That is a Concord model for Beyond the Gates of Antares. And I assembled my force of about 750 to 1,000 points of stuff so that I could play the game. I got a buddy of mine that has been, or actually a couple of friends who have been tinkering around with it. And now I have a force I can play with, and I started messing around with colors, and I'm not going to show them to you closely until I get like a whole squad painted, and then I'll show you what they look like. I'm not super thrilled. I mean, I really mostly just painting to get them done. This is really the curse of doing this for a living, is that when you paint for yourself, a lot of times you kind of go, whatever, nobody's going to care. And you kind of just paint it fast. So stuff that if I do stuff for you, it's better than the stuff I do for me. So there you go. And then I've been working on Arena Rec stuff. I've got 2 out of the 3 models done from the starter. And the 3rd model is here and ready for paint. And I have a new model for my Age of Sigmar force that I kind of got started on and then kind of didn't lose interest in, but we weren't really actively playing the game at the moment, so he kind of got put on hiatus. So it's nice to be able to do some things for myself, but in addition to that, overall it just feels like I am, this whole thing is starting to feel more like a job where I can actually take days off and do things for myself, which is really cool. For example, last week, I went to Boston. I haven't actually spent any significant time in Boston in years, but a friend of mine was coming out to visit his son in the Navy, and they were going to meet up in Boston, and I went out and hung out with them for a couple of days. Well, actually, like a day and a half. And got to do some stuff like this. So yeah, that was pretty fun. As much as I'm into things historical, you'd think I would spend more time out there. But the truth is, I hate driving in Boston. It's a pain in the butt. But now that I've been able to do more of the touristy stuff, I think I'm going to make some time to go out and do that. So yeah, that was pretty cool. And just, it's great that this thing is turning into a job that's more like a job. And I think last month I mentioned that I was applying for a regular job. That didn't end up coming to fruition. So this is it. I'm going to keep doing this. But, so let's talk about this. Well, not this, but more of this, like 3D printing. For example, I've started doing some things for the store. This is the base. Let's see if we can get you to see what that says. Yeah, there it is. This is a base for a trophy. If you see, it says Eldritch Moon Greenfield Games. And then on top of this is going to be a Planeswalker symbol. And this is going to be the trophy for our Eldritch Moon League, which I'm not sure exactly when it ends, in the next week or two. So I've been doing stuff, trying to do more useful things with the 3D printer as opposed to just printing toys for myself, which I'm still doing. This is, if you've been paying attention to the videos, this is the project that I'm working on. Man, that looks so much better in video than it does in my hand. It doesn't look bad. It doesn't look bad in my hand. On the painting video, we'll talk more about this. But that brings to what I really wanted to talk, brings me to what I wanted to talk about, which is the fact that I might have a cool project coming up that some of you might be interested in, and this is, along the lines of both fun stuff and work. I've been really enjoying doing the prop guns, and I actually now have an opportunity to utilize the incredible talents of one of my friends who works in the industry, and he's going to do some 3D modeling for me. And I think one of the things that we came up with that we're going to do first is we're going to do a 40K bolt pistol, and that should be coming around pretty soon. I actually have no specific date in mind, but I have a feeling he's going to punch that thing out pretty quick, and then I'm going to be printing and finishing it, and we'll see how that turns out. But that might be something that I will be offering for sale. Not the 3D files, but finished bolters for those of you who just like to collect 40K related cool things, or perhaps want to use it for like an award for a tournament, or perhaps you do cosplay. All of those things are possible, but we're going to experiment with that and maybe doing some other similar projects. So I guess that's going to do it for today. It's really strange. Every time it seems like I'm going to run long, or particularly long, these things tend to just end up at about 20 minutes. Really weird. I don't plan them that way, but there we are. But that's going to do it, and I might have more videos this month. I should probably have at least one more video this month. And I guess now my schedule for these videos, the vlogs, are end of the month. So you can look for the next one in about 3 to 4 weeks. Remember, I do get some funding to help support these videos via Patreon. You can find a link to my Patreon campaign in the description below. And you can always, you can always just donate through YouTube. And there should be a link up here somewhere. And, if you want to just do the bare minimum, you can always like this video, or perhaps subscribe if you have not yet done so. And that way you can see more videos in the future. But that's going to do it for now. Thank you for watching, and I will talk to you all later. Bye.